to the topics. We're going to start with my team. It's the Michigan Wolverines. I got out a lot of my steam early in the episode just celebrating, and I chugged a seltzer from my Dug McDaniel. Doug looked great. Olivier Nkamhoua looked great. Pretty much everybody looked good, to be honest. This team, in my opinion, was undervalued coming into tonight. It's why it was my lead betting play of the day. If you listen to the daily picks or saw anything I do, I really, really thought there was a lot of value here. It helped that UNC Asheville's everything Drew Pember was in foul trouble in this game, as you were quick to call out on Twitter. But this was a foul fest for both sides. It was one of the uglier refereed games I've ever seen. The Stripes made it all about themselves. It was, quite frankly, not fun to watch, which gives me a lot of hope and spirit to the fact that Michigan somehow scored 99 points in a game that was this choppy. Like, I know people made jokes about they put 115 on Marquette's head. The 3 times they've played games this season, 115 on Marquette, 90-something on Northwood, 99 on UNC Asheville in a choppy ref fest. I think this offense is for real. I think it's a lot of guys doing a lot of things. I think they're playing with pace. The tempo is so much faster than it's been when Juwan Howard has been on the sidelines. So I don't really know what to expect, but I know that one night into this season, Olivier Nkamhoua and Dug McDaniel look like superstars. Am I way off on this? Like, are you telling me to just eat my humble pie right now and this game meant nothing? Or do you think this game actually means something that moves the needle?
No, it definitely means something. Like, I don't think it can completely be thrown away or lost the fact that Dug McDaniel is going to be really, really good. Olivier Nkamhoua looked really good. Nimari Burnett looked good. I was actually going through, and I got this little system I like to do because I'm a forgetful Freddy at times. So I like to just make notes in my iPhone kind of app section. So I actually did have a couple things that I just wanted to make sure that I for sure touched on. And I usually do it as like a pro cons type thing. There were only 2 cons for me tonight, actually. And one of them wasn't even really a con of the game. I just thought that it's something that I'm going to be on the lookout for moving forward. But Nimari Burnett was really good. The shot looks good. I also want to shout out to Terrence Williams. I know you mentioned that he did change his jumper, and I think it's pretty visible, and it looked really good tonight. Olivier Nkamhoua looked like, the Olivier Nkamhoua that played against Duke last season in the tournament. Dug McDaniel is going to be special. That kid talks a lot of shit. He's fun. Only cons that I had for Michigan, I thought the pick and roll defense was very shoddy throughout the whole night, but that's pretty easily fixable and just not something I really expected because I considered Terrace Reed to be a pretty good big defender in the pick and roll. So that was a little bit surprising to see. Seemed to be more of a miscommunication issue maybe than anything, but something they need to clean up. And then the one thing that I'll put a question mark next to, and it's not necessarily a can Michigan keep this up thing, but let's just not forget that the story of Olivier Nkamhoua is that he has these games and then he has games where you don't even know he's on the floor. So some level of consistency will be important for him. And I'm not saying he's got to go for 25 and, was it 27 and 8 he had tonight? Was that what it was?
I'll get you the exact number. My phone just
okay
out, but yeah, that sounds right to me.
No, okay, yeah.
25-7, 3 assists. He was 1 for 4 from 3. I didn't think he shot the ball that great, to be honest with you. That's about all he didn't do well, though.
Okay, yeah. So it just some level of consistency, I think, will be good with him. But even on that note, I feel like some of his consistency issues last year were from him not being aggressive. So it was really good to see him get shots up, whether he's shooting well or not. So, I mean, not really much to be sad about or anything like that with this team. I thought that they just straight up looked amazing tonight. And it looks like a bunch of likable guys and a team that's going to play well defensively and then can also like just have fun and play that style they kind of played tonight. So it's definitely remained to be seen what it'll look like against better competition, but they looked amazing tonight, straight up.
Okay. I think that's a good read for the most part. The only thing I would say on your competition note, you keep going back to with in regards to Purdue's blowout win that meant nothing because they need to play better competition, or Michigan's blowout win that means nothing because they need to play better competition. But
it doesn't mean nothing though.
Okay, not nothing. You didn't say nothing, but these are not teams that Creighton and Iowa played tonight. Those games mean nothing. Those teams in the 300s on KenPom, those mean nothing. Those are horrible basketball teams that a bad offense can run out of the gym based on tempo and where you're playing. UNC Asheville is a solid basketball team. Not saying they're good. I'm not saying they're world beaters, but like on paper coming into this game, this was like a game people circled that they said, like, why is Michigan playing this game? This is a horrible game. You don't want to start the season against Drew Pember. That's a dangerous person to play. Like, if you're playing a bye game, you don't want to see Drew Pember, is a real thing a lot of people said. And then Michigan boat raced him and Pember was in foul trouble. So now it's like, well, we need to see him do it to someone better. I just disagree on that note. Like, I'm not saying they're great by any means, but like, I don't think we need to see Michigan play St. John's to tell if this team is good or not, no matter what happens in the St. John's game. Like, this was an evisceration tonight. This wasn't like a back and forth game that Michigan pulled away or made free throws and that's why they won. Like, they were destroying them from the 6-minute mark on. And they were destroying them because Dug McDaniel and Olivier Nkamhoua look like superstars. And I think your point about Nkamhoua is a really good one. This is not who he's going to be every game. It just straight up is not. He's not wired that way. What gives me hope and promise for Nkamhoua, though, is I don't even think they necessarily used him as like a featured guy tonight. Like, I think he got most of his stuff tonight within the flow of the game. And that's like, Nkamhoua will do that every game. He's not like a guy that hides in the corner or pouts ever. He just, like, if the action dictates that it goes away from him, he's fine with that because he's unselfish. I was more concerned this Michigan team was going to hit a wall where like they couldn't score without going to Nkamhoua. That's kind of what was promised in the offseason, right? It was like, well, Terrace Reed has no offensive bag and Namari Burnett can't play. Like, the ball is going to have to be in Nkamhoua's hands every time. He's not good enough for that. The truth is, the ball is going to be in Dug McDaniel's hands every time. And he looks electric. And Dug won't play this well every game, I'm sure. But, man, you mentioned it at the top of the show. I think this kid got better in every facet. And this isn't the first time either, like, not to just toot Michigan's developmental horn, but like, guys at Michigan do the whole thing where they stay the whole summer from freshman to sophomore year. And more often than not, they come back as totally different players. It just sort of is what it is. This year, Dug McDaniel and Terrace Reed did that. Other guys did not do that. Dug McDaniel and Terrace Reed did. And by all accounts, visually that we've seen in now 3 times that we've seen this team play, they both look fantastic. Like, I think there's a really possible chance here that Dug McDaniel's like a top 10 player in the Big Ten, if not higher, right now. And the future is obviously really bright for that, but it maps well that Dug is that, because now that we know Dug is comfortable like that, you don't have any concerns about Nkamhoua, because Nkamhoua can be the second option and be fantastic.
Dug's a top 10 player in the Big Ten right now.
I think he could be. I'm not saying it's a guarantee, but I'm like, that's now on the table after what he looked like tonight for sure.
Huh.
I mean, let's say this. When we were doing all the offseason stuff, I think I called this out right before the season.
Yeah.
Everyone wanted to throw Bruce Thornton's name in top 10.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people, especially us, were like, not enough people are saying Braden Smith around the top 10. Like, there's a spot for whoever the guy is that takes the leap from freshman to sophomore year. It's going to be one of them. We said that. Mm-hmm. Nobody actually picked out Dug from that group and said it will be Dug. And after seeing them all tonight, like, you tell me, but I think Dug is way ahead of where Bruce Thornton is right now, based on what I've seen.
Yeah, fair to say.
I mean, Dug had 8 assists tonight, and it was in every way. Like, he was throwing full court oops. He was like dissecting pick and roll. Like, did Bruce Thornton even have an assist in the Ohio State game? Like,
no, he didn't. But
that's the thing. I think Dug looks like a complete player. Like, Bruce Thornton's just a scorer, and that's fine. He can be a really good one, but like,
good defender too.
Dug looked like an offensive engine tonight. Yeah, I didn't expect that.
Yeah. Okay, I guess for some reason, I feel like top 10 players a little too far, because I guess I didn't have Bruce Thornton as a top 10 Big Ten player, but that's just off the top of my head. I bet you if I went through it and listed, you could get his name in the make an argument category probably. Like, if you had him on the list, I wouldn't balk at it.
I think Tony Perkins was in my top 10. Like, you have to, once you get outside the top 6, you're picking names. Like, Nkamhoua was on a lot of people's top 10. I think Dug's ahead of Nkamhoua right now, and Nkamhoua was great tonight. Like, So I don't know the point, but like back to the offseason stuff, man. Like I never like jumped on board the bandwagon because I said I wanted to see it. Right now, I've said I've seen it, and I'm okay with what I've seen to make some definitive statements. Like I think it's safe to say at this point, if you're a first or second option on the Michigan offense, you're going to be good on offense. Like, who's the last guy who's a first or second option that wasn't good?
Are we like getting into the danger territory of just like completely going off the rails one game in though?
Talk me through what you think with that.
Like, I mean, straight up, it's just like, I know it's a simple like tactic, but it's one game. Like, we can monitor it, like, yes, but
monitor what though? Because like
it's one game.
But what part of it isn't sustainable to you? Because to me, the things that would be one game, if we're splitting up things we saw in this game that we can throw in the that was one game category versus this is here to stay category. Terrence Williams making 3 of 5 threes. That's in the one game category. I don't know if that's going to happen again. Might not. It hasn't happened in his career up until now. Trey Jackson also didn't give you anything tonight. He had 20 in their last exhibition, and people said he was great earlier in the summer. So, like, I don't know. I think it's going to kind of be like every other game with those two guys. George Washington III supposedly was killing Marquette. He was 0 for 4 from the floor tonight. He had 3 fouls in the first half. So, like, it's not like everybody played great. I'm not coming on here to be like, this team's a top 25 team in the country even. I'm not even saying that. They're not. I think KenPom had him devalued. He had him 46th coming into tonight. I think they're in the 30s now. I think I said they should be closer to 30. Like, that's where I'm at with this team. I think they're like a fringe just outside of the top 25 team until we see them play some better competition. But, like, it's okay to say that and also say definitively, Dug McDaniel's here and he's great. I think we've seen that. And, yeah, it is one game, but you can't tell me. Truly, I don't think you can tell me you watched that game and came away with anything other than Dug is a monster.
Dug was a monster in that game, yeah.
Okay. All right. So it's just more wait and see then. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not saying that I'm not saying anything about like I don't think he's gonna do it. I don't think he is gonna do it. I guess has it been a while since I brought out the wait and see? It's not a wait thing. It's just like he can do that. Like that's what he can do.
We didn't know he could do that until tonight, though. We didn't know this. We didn't know that Dug had no.
I thought we were pretty high on Dug. You've always been high on Dug.
Tonight was a different level, is my point. Like he's never gone for 22 and 8 as the focal point of an offense for 31 minutes, Cart. Like, right. And there were concerns. Even if he got his numbers, that would mean the team's pretty bad. Like he absolutely could have been like a good numbers, bad team guy. Right now, he looks like the centerpiece of a team that looks really good. I was not expecting that to be the takeaway after one game. I think I'm one of the highest Dug McDaniel guys there is, but like he looks so much better than I anticipated could happen in game 1 of his sophomore year. He just does. I don't know what to do with that, but I don't think like at the very minimum, it's not fun to say, let's just wait and see. Like, I guess, Greg, let's talk after game 6 to see if we can evaluate this or not. Like, no, we do a daily podcast, so we should probably talk about when guys go for 22 and 8 and look electric. Like,
yeah, I get it, but yeah, you're right. I got nothing for that.
All right,
Dug was amazing in this game.
Okay, Terrace Reed, I would say was not amazing in this game. He wasn't bad by any means, but had an early foul, like I think 30 seconds in the game, he picked up a foul. I was waiting for the Terrace Reed foul trouble tweets. He had 9 points. He had 7 rebounds. Some of his points came very late in like garbage time when he was on with the walk-ons. I thought Terrace Reed was going to be the best player on this team coming into this game. I left this thinking at best he's their 3rd, if not 4th player, but that's more about, I think Michigan's top 4 are really good than it is Terrace Reed was like underwhelming. What'd you see from Terrace Reed? You're a big man expert. What'd you see tonight?
I was disappointed in Terrace because I think I already mentioned it. Like, I consider Terrace to be one of the best defensive big men in the Big Ten. Like, I actually think I made the stretch that I would take Terrace over Cliff in settings. I would take Coleman over Cliff. Like, I would put him in that group of really good defensive big men in the Big Ten. I thought he was just lacking that tonight. I thought he was foul prone. I thought he wasn't very good in the pick and roll coverage when last year he showed me that he was really good in the pick and roll coverage. So I was disappointed with him. The one positive I will say is that he seemed to have a better feel for passing the ball, actually catching like mid post, or if he caught it on the short roll, or just caught it on the pick and roll and like made that one extra pass for a layup or a 3-pointer. I don't necessarily think they all connected or all did what he wanted to do, but him showing the willingness and the ability to do that, I thought was surprising. But overall, I was a little bit disappointed. But that might be more so because I hold Terrace in higher regards. So all in all, like not a Terrace, like you still said 9-7. Granted, a lot of that came in garbage time, especially on the scoring end. But I just hold him in a higher regard. So I would say that he had a down game, and that was a little bit disappointing.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's fine to say. Like, I think this was Terrace Reed's like C game, maybe C- game. Still thought he did assert himself physically at times. He is a very good rebounder. You can tell. Like, I think internally, Michigan's not really going to have issues this year. And that was it was a fair thing to question, at least before they got Nkamhoua, right? It was like, well, Hunter Dickinson's out. What is Michigan going to do at center? Not worried about that at all. Even if Terrace Reed's just giving you 9 and 7 a night, like I think you can live with what Terrace Reed brings you right now. One of my takeaways, I want to know what you think here. I don't think anyone on the bench played particularly well. Like I said, like Trey Jackson struggled tonight in ways. George Washington didn't hit a shot. Those are two guys they really need to be really good. But I didn't come away from this game feeling like super concerned about Michigan's depth. Am I crazy for that? Because that was my major red flag coming into tonight.
If you're gonna get those performances out of Dug, if you get that performance out of what do you call it, like the 3 or 4? Like you said, you would take these 3 guys as or the 4 guys?
4. I'm putting Barnett. I think the group of Nkamhoua, Dug, Terrace Reed, and Nimari Burnett has an argument for best foursome in this conference. As crazy as that sounds. At minimum, right there up in the top 3. Like it's like how you cut it, right? Like if you're saying who's the best duo in the conference, you're going either Zach Edey and Braden Smith, or you're going Terrence Shannon and Coleman Hawkins. Like if you just cut it at duo, that's who it is. If you extend out to trio, then Michigan State comes in the conversation, right? Because you get to include Jaden Akins in that, and he's really good. If you extend it out to 4, I like Nimari Burnett as 4 over who Purdue has at 4, or even who's Michigan State's 4th right now? Malik Hall,
Colin Carr.
Okay, until Colin Carr gets a starting role, then I'll say I'm a little skeptical of Michigan State's 4. As soon as they put Cohen in at the starting spot, you can have the top 4. But for now, like Michigan has pretty clearly defined roles. These 4 guys are going to play 30 minutes tonight. Nkamhoua and Dug played 31 tonight. Nimari Burnett played 21, but he was in foul trouble. That's the only reason he didn't play 30. Terrace Reed played 20, and I think he's coming off a groin injury. That's why he didn't play. But to me, those 4 are as solid as it gets, man.
Are you taking that 4 over Bruce, Roddy,
Yes.
Jamison, and Felix?
Yep.
Wow.
Without question. Without question.
Really easily too?
Yes, without question.
I thought that'd be a little bit closer. That'd be closer for me. I think I'd still go.
No, I think the argument would be that Ohio State could win the 3rd and the 4th spot. But I think based on what we saw tonight, I have Dug and Nkamhoua way ahead of Bruce and Battle. I really do.
I mean, it's real tough to make an argument against that after tonight, to be honest with you. I'm not in the best spot. I really ain't got much to make an argument against it after tonight. And that is what it is. But yeah,
Will Cheddar sighting real quick while we're finishing bench. I've made a lot of
Cheddar is a flop and annoying as hell.
So I agree with that, but I mean, he finished with 8 points. He hit 2 of 2 threes tonight. He played 21 minutes. Like he had an assist. He had a steal. Like
we're going here. Oh, we're going here.
No, just hear me out. I'm just saying this. When I'm talking about like, oh, the depth was kind of a pleasant surprise for me. That's because I never thought they would get a redeemable minute out of Will Cheddar in his career. Tonight they got 21 real minutes out of Will Cheddar tonight. Yeah, that's something, right? Like,
it's something. I think the what I know I kind of got long-winded in that point with and got a little off topic with comparing it to other things we were talking about. But the main point that I want to take from that is that if you get that type of performance from them 4, I don't really know if the depth or anything else really matters. Like, I think anything above that from any of those guys, even in the smallest, most minimal capacity, as long as they're not doing something that hurts you, like, you'll be all right. Like, you'll be fine if that four are playing at the level they played.
I think that's a great point, and I think you summarized it better than I could with what I was trying to say that I learned tonight. I think I'm still scared about Michigan's bench. I don't like the players necessarily. I don't think they're very good, but I'm less concerned about Michigan's depth because tonight we learned that Michigan's starters are for real and can play most of the minutes. Like, we came into tonight being like, there is a chance that Dug McDaniel can't play 35 minutes tonight. We came into tonight being like, there's a chance Nimari Burnett can only play 20 minutes and he's not good. Like, to me, we left this thinking we got 30 to 35 minutes a game, guys. And Michigan's never been afraid to play guys 32 minutes. Part of that's been because their benches haven't been very good. Hopefully that changes a little bit. But I think as far as quality of who's going to be playing these minutes, man, you need so much less from your bench than I thought they did tonight. And Trey will be able to play. George Washington will be able to play, even if he's not making shots. Like, I feel so much better about this Michigan team, dude. I really do. I know we're going to do Big Ten tiers later, but I just think that whole gross middle of the pack in the Big Ten, there's a lot of teams that I wish Michigan could play right now because I have not been impressed with many of them the way I've been impressed with Michigan.
Yeah. Is it too early to take a mini victory lap as sleepers?
You were the loudest person this offseason on Michigan being underrated. You really were. More so than I was.
Yeah. So I'll take that. That feels good.
It's a win for you.
Yes.
Final thing for me, and this is more a warning to you as a friend than anything. As soon as we wrap recording this tonight, after just enough people have fallen asleep so I don't get hate from you about this, I'm going to tweet 4 pictures with no commentary at all. It's just going to be 4 pictures. The first picture is going to be a picture of Phil Martelli circa 2003. The second picture is going to be a picture of Jameer Nelson in 2003. The third picture is going to be Phil Martelli tonight. The fourth picture is going to be Dug McDaniel tonight. I think that's what I have for the next 3 years, my friend. I am so excited about it. I can't wait.